tune it on Freedom FM 87.9 and www.freedomradioliberia.com.
A pleasant good evening and a warm welcome to Freedom News Basket. 45 minutes of news from our news department here at Freedom Communications Incorporated. Today is Friday, the 27th of October, and my name is Anthony Phillips, anchoring this edition. Coming up, President George Weah receives another endorsement from opposition New Liberia Party ahead of the runoff presidential elections slated for November 14. CDC Standard Bearer George Weah brightens 1,000 homes in Virginia, Montserrado County District 17 with a call for his re-election during the runoff elections. Integrity Watch Liberia presents over 1,000 evidences against political parties and independent candidates for violating NEC regulations on political party campaign financing. And away from Liberia, South African Parliament threatened parents with jail sentence if they refuse to send their children to school. This plus many more, but first, let's cross over to the news center where Edizana Yenikin is pretty seated to bring us the news bulletin. Good evening, Alex.
Good evening, Anthony, and good evening, listeners. Ruling Coalition for Democratic Change, Standard Bearer, and incumbent President George Weah late Thursday night brightened the homes of over 1,000 residents with electricity in the township of Virginia in Montserrado District 17. Addressing the citizens of Virginia, President Weah said prior to his ascendancy as president of Liberia, he promised to carry on more developments in the country, thus vowing to continue working for the people of Virginia and Liberia at large. He lauded the CEO of the Liberia Electricity Corporation, Monique Captain, and his LEC team for putting smiles on the citizens' faces, and at the same time commended the people of District 17 for imposing their trust in him. According to the Liberian leader, it is time citizens of Virginia and the entire District 17 to go to the polls on November 14 to massively vote him in the runoff election in order to continue his many developmental initiatives in the district and across the country during his second term in office as president. Integrity Watch Liberia has reportedly documented about 1,390 evidences against political parties and independent candidates for allegedly violating the regulations of the National Elections Commission on political parties campaign financing during the October 10 presidential legislative elections in the country. The executive director of Integrity Watch, Harold Edu, linked all of the political parties and most of the independent candidates to violations of the NEC political parties campaign financing regulations. Edu made the disclosure at a one-day stakeholders conference on handling the breaches of NEC political parties campaign regulations organized by Integrity Watch Liberia in collaboration with the National Elections Commission Monrovia on Friday. The conference held on the theme strengthening political accountability project brought together participants from the Liberia National Bar Association, the United States Agency for International Development, the civil society organizations, among many others. The National Council of Chiefs and Elders of Liberia said that there is a need for Liberians, especially political actors and their supporters, to remain peaceful ahead of the pending presidential runoff election. The council's spokesman, Chief Matthew Smith, said it is incumbent upon all Liberians to maintain the peace irrespective of the political differences. Chief Smith also lauded Liberians for peacefully participating in the first round of the election, describing the turnout as unprecedented. The National Council of Chiefs and Elders spokesperson also called on citizens to turn out in their numbers on November 14 to vote in the runoff election. The government of Liberia, through the Cooperative Development Agency, has commenced a 3-day human resource capacity development training in Ganta-Nimba County. The training, which brings together 12 farmer-based cooperatives, drawn from Lofa, Bonk, Magibi, and Nimba counties. CDA Deputy Registrar for Programs, Gender and Youth Promotion, Mohammed Jala, said the gathering is targeting 8 cooperative leaderships and CDA staff through leadership and good governance training programs. 3 executives of the participating cooperatives, Musu Nana, Michael Kano, and Zogwa, have commended the government of Liberian partners for the empowerment initiative. They said the training will help boost productivity and increase membership of the various groupings. Huge consignment of medical supplies to address concerns of drugs has arrived in Monrovia by John F. Kennedy Medical Center and is stocked out at the hospital. JFK Chief Administrator Dr. Jerry Brown said the drugs procured will go a long way in providing optimal medical services to the public. The consignment, mainly oral medications, was purchased from a manufacturing plant based in Guyana. Dr. Brown said the consignment is the first of 3 shipments of medical supplies expected to arrive in the country. Education Minister Professor Ansu Suni has lauded the Nigerian government and its people for the cordial relationship that continues to swell between the 2 African countries, especially in the education sector. Making a special statement Thursday during the official welcoming orientation program for additional 12 technical aid corps volunteer teachers, Mr. Soni said Nigeria has become the model country in the region, both in population and advancement. He added that the people and government of Liberia always remain grateful for the level of support from the Nigerian government to rise and advance, noting that Liberia would not have made certain significant gains had it not been the help of Nigeria. Referencing the total of 26 volunteer classroom teachers currently in the country for Nigeria to help with the education system, the minister indicated that another batch of TAC volunteers suspected in November of this year to increase the number to 42. He reassured the Nigerian embassy in Monrovia that the Liberian government, through the Ministry of Education, will assign the TAC volunteers to places that are easily accessible with other reasonable facilities, signifying their presence in the African country. At the same time, the Minister of Education has reminded those volunteers about how critical their role is in national development, noting that whether or not it is recognized, the teachers appreciate themselves, terming them as the transformers. Meanwhile, while officially handing over the 12 additional volunteers to Minister Soni, Manuel Ibrahim, Charles d'Affaires of the Nigerian Embassy, urged the teachers to demonstrate good conduct as always and strengthen the bilateral relations between the 2 countries. Ibrahim also disclosed that the Nigerian government has recruited and trained many professors and are awaiting development in Liberian universities if the Liberian government is ready. Over 5,000 workers of the Dissolved Beach and Waterways Project have appreciated President George Weah for statements made in their favor. In 2022, the Liberian government, through the Ministry of Youth and Sports, dissolved the beaches and waterways projects across the country and replaced it with the Temporary Employment for Community Youth Project. The termination of the Beach and Waterways Project by the Ministry of Youth and Sports has garnered several youths, including men and women in Nikru Town, Hotel Africa, West Point, PHP, and rehab communities out of work. But addressing thousands of supporters Wednesday at the CDC headquarters, President George Weah vowed to re-examine the Beach and Waterways Project and put it back under the supervision of the Liberian Maritime Authority if given another 6 years, aimed at abolishing the ad hoc approach that has affected the program. Meanwhile, upon listening to the president's speech, several workers of the Beach and Waterways Project expressed joy over the statement. The beach workers said the statement by the president has given them hope and made them feel important in the different communities. The over 5,000 beach workers have at the same time vowed to overwhelmingly vote President Weah in the upcoming November 14 runoff election and ensure that he is re-elected. And away from home, South Africa's parliament has passed a major education bill that could see parents face prison if their children are not in school. Under the Basic Education Laws Amendment, they could be jailed for up to 12 months if their children are truant or if they are not enrolled when they reach school age. Bella also introduces a ban on corporal punishment in all schools. It is the biggest education overhaul since the end of apartheid in 1994. The governing party, the African National Congress, says the bill will transform the country's education system to address historical and present challenges. However, the biggest opposition party, the Democratic Alliance, has condemned it, saying it gives the state too much control over schools and will lead to the collapse of education. The DA said the bill disempowers schools, parents, and communities and fails to address a single one of the systemic challenges that impede quality education. Freedom News.
Let me say many thanks to Alexander Yenekinder for the news bulletin, which is a regular feature on Freedom News Basket here at Freedom Communications Incorporated. If you just joined us, welcome. Stories we're following this evening. President George Weah received another endorsement from opposition New Liberia Party ahead of the runoff presidential election slated for November 14. CDC standard bearer George Weah brightens over 1,000 homes in Virginia, Montserrado County District 17 with a call for his re-election during the runoff elections. Integrity Watch Liberia presents over 1,000 evidences against political parties and independent candidates for violating NEC regulations on political parties' campaign fundraising. And away from Liberia, South African Parliament threatens parents with jail sentence if they refuse to send their children to school. This plus many more are coming up after this very short break. Thanks for rejoining us and stay tuned. Let's bring you our very first development. Ruling Coalition for Democratic Change standard bearer and incumbent President George Weah late Thursday night brightened the homes of over 1,000 residents with electricity in a township of Virginia in Montserrado County District 17. Addressing the citizens of Virginia, President Weah said, prior to his excellency as President of Liberia, he promised to carry on more development in the country, thus vowing to continue working for the people of Virginia and Liberia at large. He, however, lauded the CEO of the Liberia Electricity Corporation, Monique Captain, and his LEC team for putting smiles on the citizens' faces, and at the same time commended the people of District 17 for imposing their trust in him.
Honorable Benson, DJ Blue, all of you, I want to thank you. We decided that we were looking for a diligent person to help us to enlighten our cities and our towns and our districts and all of you. Because I know you're a dedicated person, Mr. Patel, I know you for fellow team. So our families and friends, the community will be happy to have a community like you. I did not make a mistake. Time to do things bit by bit. I know More people want electricity. Thank you for the confidence reposing me. Continue to work for you. And so, to God, we say to God be the glory. Any other thing to be added, we are excited. In the Bible and the Word of God told us, let there be light. And there is light.
That's the voice of Liberian President George Weah there speaking to citizens of Virginia. The standard bearer of the new Liberia Party has officially endorsed the candidacy of President George Weah in the runoff presidential elections slated for November 14 in the country. Joshua Turner, who was defeated in the 2023 presidential election, said he is supporting President Weah because his plans for Liberia are in line with his dream and aspiration for the Liberian people. Addressing a news conference in Monrovia, Mr. Turner called on all of his supporters to join him in making President Weah victorious in the presidential runoff elections in Liberia.
Fellow Liberians, after listening to and carefully reading and perusing the manifestos and structure of our political bipolar in the light of the two political parties set for our runoff elections, I've come to the conclusion that President George Manneh Weah has a greater and a better system of enshrining my ideology and major platform of industrializing Liberia and the interests of my people. Having exhibited a more comprehensive and far-reaching approach of promoting prosperity, peace, and unity for a better Liberia, as a result, based on this ideology, I, Joshua Tom Turner, in my role as a presidential candidate in the just concluded presidential elections, now offered my entire support and endorsement of President George Manneh Weah's re-elections for the runoff elections slated for November 14, 2023. I do like to utilize this opportunity and this means to invite all of my supporters, well-wishers, friends, family members, the Rebuild Liberia movement, its campus-based student body, and all of our churches, pastors, members, and the public to join me in supporting President George Manneh Weah's re-elections. I urge all Liberians to remain peaceful and support our hard-won democratic process and peace.
That's the voice of the standard bearer of the new Liberia Party, Joshua Turner, who officially endorsed the candidacy of President George Weah re-election. Integrity Watch Liberia has reportedly documented about 1,390 evidences against political parties and independent candidates for allegedly violating the regulations of the National Elections Commission on political parties' campaign financing during the October 10th presidential and legislative elections in the country. The executive director of Integrity Watch, Harold Edu, linked all of the political parties and most of the independent candidates to violation of the NEC political party campaign financing regulations. Edu made a disclosure at a one-day stakeholder conference on handling the breaches of NEC political parties campaign regulations organized by the Integrity Watch in collaboration with the National Elections Commission in Monrovia on Friday.
On the overall, I've documented 1,333 violations across multiple indicators. We've also collected thousands of evidences, videos, pictorial, in terms of different violations that were committed across multiple political parties and across independent candidates. And we have so much huge data that we will not be able to use this forum to exhaust the data. I'm going to share with you some of the data just to give you a sense of the kind of violations that have been committed, and then also as our panel go into the discussion, so we can be able to unpack some of these violations, the laws, and what we can all do to address it. improve our process going forward. So basically, our objective for today is to share the monitoring findings and also enable our stakeholders to discuss ways in which we can improve or enforce compliance going forward. The data collection process looked at the indicators around the campaign financing regulation, whether representative senatorial candidate. We also did observations at campaign rallies, different campaign events across the country. And also, as the data came, we did verification. There were also observations in terms of things that were happening in multiple political parties, ARCOM, CPP, CDC, so forth, to the party. So when we talk about abuse of incumbency, normally what we look at the party in office, and the party posting office being the one maybe we think that, okay, they are the one who that we think has the power to violate different kinds of resources, whether their offices and so forth. But our data showed also that across multiple political parties, there were violations of abuse of the incumbency. Even though, as you can see in the data, for all the parties, as you can see, there is only one political party that violations on all three sides of the data, as you can see. So the blue representing those vying for the representative seat is for the senatorial seat and then the president. But with the rest of the table, you can see most of the violations have to do with parties such as ARPO, the Unity Party, other parties, candidates violating abuse of incumbency. When we did analysis of our data, we realized that there were candidates who were either independent or worked in government, but then they were contesting seats on the ticket of multiple political parties.
That's the voice of the Executive Director of Integrated Watch Liberia, Hera Edude, speaking. Ahead of the presidential runoff elections in the country, marketers around the country are complaining about the slow pace of customers in purchasing their goods and services, thus affecting their daily sales. Freedom News interim reporter Patricia Chie spoke with some of the marketers on Friday around Monrovia and now reports.
Some marketeers, most especially women, noted that they are facing serious challenges with their businesses, adding that business is on a slow pace due to the election. According to them, things were fine and going smoothly prior to the election, but noted that people are afraid to purchase several commodities due to the threatening remarks made during the first round of election by some political figures in the country.
It's not going well. Where is it going? No, it's not really going well. But you look at peace, the most important thing now. Before the election, people not really buying. Maybe we feel like keeping the money for the election. Things change more because people not really buying per se. People got fear from remote and things. How a lot plan purposing to do the cost parent because that's some people holding their money.
No business, no money. Now they're not buying. We can make some money, but now no money.
The business is not going fine this time. It's going slow. Before the election, it was not really going like that, but at least it was okay more than now. It was not easy. Yeah. I think it's not easy. It's not okay at all.
They're not easy, but they're not going, they're not buying. So before election, they're not going small, but time election, no business, they're not going. So like send the money and go food at A1. So
this year, Liberians are concerned about the election process and they are not buying goods and services anymore. Instead, they are praying for a successful and peaceful election comes November 14.
I hope for by the grace of God, I hope for everything to be all right, the business to be moving, and things. I will can't say people will buy and things will be able to help our 17.
Oh, I want good thing to happen. Again, I want let them 14. I want let them win because if they win, we will get good lot to sell our market. We will get anything we want. They will give to we. They will bring money also.
So we really pray for change, yo. After this election, because some people say maybe because of the election, that is why people are holding on to money. They don't want to release money. Even we that are making business, even for us to make money is very hard. So after this election, we are hoping maybe we are opening up to God, that God will give us a good leader, that everything will become normal again.
Yeah, I want to see some teaching them to the government must try, the business must be moving, the president must come down. Oh, one because we the business put like one business must come down, the president must come down, business must be moving. They will be happy.
The market women are however calling on the National Election Commission to speed up with the electoral process so as to get things back to normal and continue with their markets to help sustain themselves and their family. Reporting for Freedom FM News, I'm Patricia Chie.
A former superintendent of Nima County, Edith Gonglo Webb, has declared support for the Coalition for Democratic Change and endorsed President George Weah in the presidential runoff elections slated for November 14 in the country. Madam Gonglo Webb said her decision to endorse President Weah in the runoff presidential election is based on popular mandate from a broad base of consultation of thousands of her supporters in Nima County and the rest of Liberia. Addressing a press conference in Monrovia, Madam Webb then called on the people of Nima County, regardless of their political affiliations, to join her and other Liberians in making President Weah's victory a resounding one.
After thorough consultations and assessments of the remaining candidates, we do hereby declare our unreserved support for the re-election bid of President George Manneh Weah of the Coalition for Democratic Change. We did not come to this decision overnight. We consulted with our supporters, my amazing husband and children, and well-wishers before coming to this conclusion. We critically looked at other prevailing variables before concluding that President Weah was a better choice in the pending runoff election. We hope that President Weah and his team would take our endorsement as a challenge to govern well when re-elected for his second term. We call on all of our supporters who believe in our judgment to join us in supporting President Weah to victory to complete all of his development agenda under the Pro-Po Agenda for Development. We are resolved to robustly campaign the best way we know how throughout the length and breadth of our county and country to ensure President Weah's success. We shall spread the CDC new message of national reconciliation, reconstruction, and renewal in the second term of the president. We want to take this time to thank all of you. Thank you to my supporters, officials of our great movement in NIMBA that has caused us to continue to be a force to reckon with. We want to say thank you to the Congress for Democratic Change for giving us the opportunity to partner at this critical time in our country history with their decision to maintain the peace and change the course of direction of our country. We say thank you to everyone. Thank you to our citizens. Thank you to the citizens of NIMBA who have given me yet a bigger platform to be able to advocate on their behalf. I say thank you to my husband and my children who have always given me the leverage to chart the course for our nation's survival.
That's the former superintendent of Nima County, Madam Edith Gonglo Webb, endorsing President Weah election bid. Over 5,000 workers of the Dissolved Beach and Waterways Project have appreciated President George Weah for a statement made in their favor. The termination of the Beach and Waterways Project by the Ministry of Youth and Sports have gotten several youth, including men and women, in Negro Town, Hotel Africa, West Point, PHP, and rehab communities out of work. Meanwhile, upon listening to the president's speech on Wednesday at the CDC headquarters, several workers of the Beach and Waterways Project expressed joy over the statement and endorsed the president for the runoff elections between him and Ambassador Joseph Boakai. The beach workers said the statement by the president has given them hope and made them feel important in their different communities.
And this is what the president said. As a start, we will re-examine the Beach and Waterways program and bring it back under the supervision of the Liberia Maritime Authority. This is intended to abolish the ad hoc approach that has affected the school shop program. The president called the program crucial. That means it's important. Then he ended by saying, which is a source of income for thousands of young people.
And thank God for our president. Yes. For really recognizing these beaches and waterway as one of the key pillars under the Pro-Po Agenda for prosperity, right? PAPD. Despite there have been a lot of blockage, but after all his investigation, I believe he has got to realize that those people in Nikrutan, they deserve better. Those people in Banjo, they deserve better. Those people in the slum of West Point, they deserve better. Those people in ERWA, I mean, Rehab where he resides, I mean, we sweep Sunday, he will go there and exercise seeing us. They deserve better.
I feel happy for Bwekubwe. And then for you to tell me that my job going back on the marathon, I'm too happy. Why? Because marathon used to pay me on time. And I ain't good thing for marathon. So I'm too happy for that war. Bwekubwe, I said thank you. Harrison, I said thank you. Oh, I tell you thank you, Papi.
Therefore, I want to appreciate the president for his speech yesterday. His speech had brought joy.
Let me begin by saying to our president, thank you very much. So with all the things we are going through, we still have the trust that our president will take a decision at the appointed time. And the time has finally come that he has taken this decision everyone of us have been yearning for. We want to say on behalf of the beaches and waterway, cutting from ERWA to Banja, to say thank you to our president. We really appreciate.
Meanwhile, the over 5,000 beach workers have at the same time vowed to overwhelmingly vote President Weah in the upcoming November 14 runoff elections and ensure that he is re-elected.
We will make sure we will go from door to door, from street to street, from corner to corner. We will ensure we were giving a vote that he never expected from us. And the second round is sure.
I'm voting for you, and even the people that voting for you, the party, I will convince them they will vote for you. I said thank you. Thank you, Bwekubwe. Thank you.
I want the pastor for Hotel Africa Bill. We pray for the job of the other people have been blacking it, but thank God that the president here our crap. And because of his speech, we will go from door to door that they vote, they coming election, it will be the highest.
Because the information that is to reach you, that one will worry against you. But now we listen to your voice now. So, number 2, Mr. President, George Manneh Weah, you number 2. Yes. But local beach and water with Marietta, we bringing you to number 1. Yes. We fighting for you. You getting a 1 blow.
Mr. President, we thank you for the identical thing that you do for us. We love you, Papa.
Voices of workers of the Beach and Waterways Project, they are speaking joyously. A Liberian businesswoman residing in Europe, precisely Serbia, Abigail Sewa, is pleading to the national government through the Liberian National Police to immediately intervene to locate a Liberian man, Mongo Chinkan, who allegedly took away her goods worth $5,000. Speaking to our reporter Thursday through mobile phone, Ms. Sewa said in September 2022, she entrusted goods worth $5,000 to Mongo Chinkan in Liberia, with her sister Ruth Sewa intended to be transported to Austria with an additional payment for cargo. She noted that since 2022 September, she has been unable to establish contact with Mongo Chinkan, and his whereabouts is unknown.
This guy by the name of Monga Chanchan, he have a relationship with my friend Noj Tobe, and I got to know him through Noj Tobe, and he traveled to Europe in Austria. So I being my friend, I told her, I said, I have my goods. My sister was going to send it through DHL. So for the charges, so much custom fees. Then she said, but my guy is also in Europe there. He can help you to carry your goods. Then I said, yeah, because they're European countries, they are neighboring countries. The next day, I called my guy and I told him, send me your information so I can be able to send you the $150 for custom fees. And how he told me, Abigail, when we're working here, they never pay me, and I want you to send the $150 to somebody in Liberia, and when I get my salary, I will be able to pay the $150 to custom to get you. And I told him I was not going to send money in Liberia to anybody while my goods is in Austria. So he needs to come out to me and tell me what is going on. So he said, I will call you back. I'm in workshop. I will call you back. So I called him. I said, oh my God, I have one of my friends in Austria, in Vienna. Please, can you go with him to the airport so he can just get my goods and say, bring it to me? He started insulting me and he abused me so good, and he stopped talking to me since that night. When I call him, I can't get a hold of him, and I want Liberia government, friends, family members all over the world, wheresoever they know Monga Chanchan is, to please reach to the Liberia government with his location so I can be able to get my goods. Because I'm in Serbia, I'm here alone, and I do business to earn my living.
That's a Liberian businesswoman, that's Abigail Siwa, pleading with the Liberian government to help her gain her 5,000 United States dollars from Monga Chanchan. To this next development, Montserrat County Electoral District Number 4 Representative-elect Michael Thomas says his election to the 55th legislature was based on his previous works done within the district. Appearing on state radio Thursday, Representative-elect Thomas vowed to ensure that the district receive more development under his leadership as representative of Electoral District Number 4 Montserrat County. The District 4 representative-elect disclosed that the district lacks road connectivity and good health care, thus vowing to build additional health facilities, ensure road connectivity, and eliminate harmful substances within the district, especially drugs abuse.
People of District 4 believe in me, and 14,000 plus person voted me overwhelmingly, to serve. I'm one person that have worked seriously in. So we started providing, hand wash, providing rice, food stuff to people like, survivor and even victims, and we partner with a lot of different public health facility, which is the Tupo Road Clinic. Up to now, we can still speak to that. I have been one person that have done donations to that clinic for almost 5 times. And everything was at his voice. And we said, this is time. We are eminent, resident of the district. I'm a business owner. I own a vocational school in the district that impacted the capacity of a lot of people, even the older people, our mothers. They all took advantage of that opportunity. We offer it free of charge because we try to look at the directives of issues in the district, and we thought to provide remedy to see how we can resolve such chat. We already have a lot of them go. And I'm one person, I'm always in my short trousers and my t-shirt. I'm in a community interacting with people. Every few people are dying by the day. They need to be rehabilitated.
That's District Number 4 Representative-elect Michael Thomas there speaking. The campaign chairperson of the Coalition for Democratic Change, Councillor Kanyo Bala, has disclosed that the Opposition Unity Party and its partisans are on their dying bed, and they are going to be buried with their standard bearer and the entire Unity Party politically after the second round of the elections. Appearing on a local radio in Margibi County Thursday, Councillor Bala claimed that the Unity Party is fighting with lies and fake propaganda against the CDC to regain state power after failing for 12 years.
The Unity Party is pretty much a dying horse. They are on their death. I know so. Okay. Because after these elections, we buried Joseph Boakai. I don't mean physically, politically, along with the Unity Party. They know that there's no hope for the Unity Party after these elections. It's pretty much their funeral we're having right now. Wow. And when somebody can see imminent political death, what do? Everything at their disposal, that's what they are fighting with now. Whether it is lies, they will fight with lies. Whether it's innuendos, they will fight with innuendos. They came to say there's corruption in the country, 16 billion got missing. While the president was struggling to assume all of the expenses that they left here and grounded this country, they came with 16 billion being missing. They put people in the streets in Monrovia, paralyzed the government in Monrovia. The president had to go and call on a foreign entity to come to this country and to don't do an audit and evaluation. You wasting Liberian people time and money simply because they are alive. This company came here, did an evaluation, no 16 billion got missed. The report is there for all to, but they continue to peddle these lies. So the Liberian people talking about people put money in continue, they were carrying it all around. Now that is what we have been up against for the last 6 years. Lie after lie after lie, while the president continues to struggle to improve this country. Building hospitals around, building roads, improving education, and all of those things that we'll begin to talk about. But that's why we have. So when you ask the question about why is it there's a skew now, is because of these kinds of lies. And that's why we're here. Because we're also aware that they have been coming to mind. When you have a crowded field, sometimes people will go to a process and say there may be a second round. But when it's narrowed down and they can see what the actual...
That's the campaign chairperson of the Coalition for Democratic Change, Kanyo Babalade, speaking in Markibi County. Well, to this final development now, Education Minister Professor Ansu Suni has lauded the Nigerian government and its people for the cultural relationship that continues to sway between the two African countries, especially in the educational sector. Making a special statement Thursday, October 26, during the official welcome and orientation program for additional 12 technical aid corps volunteers, Minister Suni said Nigeria has become the model of countries in the region, both in population and advancement.
We are so very appreciative of the partnership that we now share on this education platform in this country. It's good that Nigeria can come to help us, because the whole world knows that the independence of all countries of Africa, except for Ethiopia, were pushed by Liberia. And now we have got 26. November, if we get the other number, I think it's what? 26 from 42, is that 16? Yeah, that's 16 addition. So we look forward to that as well. Maybe those 16 now, we send them to different counties other than the 5 that we are sending our people to now. The allocations to the various counties were clear.
That's Education Minister Professor Ansu Suni speaking on yesterday. We sincerely apologize for the poor quality of that excerpt. Well, folks, on this note, this is how I would like to go home today on this edition of Freedom News Basket. 45 minutes of all of the latest news from our news department here at Freedom Communications Incorporated. Before we go, here are stories we follow closely this evening. President George Weah received another endorsement from opposition New Liberal Party ahead of the runoff presidential elections slated for November 14. CDC standard bearer George Weah brightens over 1,000 homes in Virginia, Monserrato County, District 17, with a call for his re-election during the runoff elections. Integrity Watch Liberia presents over 1,000 evidences against political parties and independent candidates for violating NEC's regulations on political parties' campaign financing. And away from Liberia, South African Parliament threatened parents with jail sentence if they refuse to send their children to school. Well, Alexander Yinikin was here with the news bulletin, a regular feature on our news presentation. Martin Griffith sat at control and produced the sound. My name is Anthony Phillips, our presenter. Thanks for listening and have a wonderful weekend.
R&B, Afro-pop, old school, jazz, mellow, you name it, we've got it all on Freedom FM.